Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here on purpose, in divine timing, because you've been sensing a shift in your spirit. You've been feeling uncomfortable where you are, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. What once felt familiar now feels frustrating. What once felt like home now feels like a holding cell. That's not your imagination. That's revelation. God is moving you. The season has changed. The assignment in the old place has ended. And though it may feel uncertain, unsettling, or even scary, this is divine relocation, not just into a new building, but into a new dimension of living, purpose, and presence. Let's break this down into 7 powerful chapters to help you fully understand what's happening and why God is already preparing something greater for you. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content. It's a divine confirmation sent straight from heaven to the chosen ones. And to everyone who's been supporting through super thanks, thank you. May God bless you richly. Your generosity, your consistency, and your spiritual hunger do not go unnoticed. To all who keep returning, watching, and aligning, know this: your faith is making room for the shift. If your spirit resonates with this frequency, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a prophetic signal that you're aligned with movement, with breakthrough, with divine relocation. It means your season of staying stuck is over, and your new home, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, is already being released. Not everyone will make it to the end of this message. Only those truly chosen. Those who stay will receive clarity, peace, and divine insight about why God is pulling you out of the old and positioning you for the new. This isn't just a video. It's a living word, a spiritual instruction manual. Watch it again whenever your soul feels unsettled, because every listen will unlock a deeper revelation of what's waiting on the other side of your obedience. Your next location, it's not a move, it's a mission. And the place you're headed, it's already prepared by God. Let's dive into it. Chapter 1. Discomfort is the first sign of divine movement. Chosen one, let's go deeper. That tightness you feel, that sense of not belonging anymore, that internal tug of war that's been building in your spirit, that's not something to brush off. That's God speaking without words. You're not crazy. You're not ungrateful. You're not broken. You're being awakened. Discomfort is heaven's alarm clock. It's how God prepares His chosen ones for movement. He starts by making what once felt right start to feel wrong. Not because the place changed, but because you did. You've grown, stretched, matured, and evolved. Your discernment is sharper now. Your calling is louder. Your vision is clearer. And what once fit your past can't contain your purpose anymore. There was a time you were comfortable in that environment. It was a place of peace, maybe even promotion. But God never intended for you to settle there. He used that place to build you, not to bury you. And now the grace has lifted. What used to feel like home now feels like a cage. What used to feed your spirit now feels like spiritual famine. What used to stretch you now stifles you. And you can't quite explain it to others, because they're not called to leave with you. This exit is personal. This transition is sacred. God has a pattern with His chosen. He doesn't move us with force. He moves us with friction. He allows the nest to feel uncomfortable, so we'll start preparing to fly. He lets the old wells dry up, so we'll search for fresh living water. He makes the familiar feel foreign, so we'll stop relying on comfort and start walking by faith. And yes, it's scary. Yes, you're not sure what's next. But deep down, you already know. This season is done. You've already graduated in the spirit. You're still standing in the old classroom, but your assignment has shifted. God is saying, you don't belong in this level anymore. You've completed the lesson. Now it's time for the next. Don't stay out of loyalty to people who don't even recognize your growth. Don't settle in a space just because it's familiar. And don't ignore the voice of discomfort. It's actually a divine GPS rerouting you. The truth is, many people miss the next move of God because they ignore the nudge of God. But not you, chosen one. You can feel it. The ground beneath your feet is no longer your foundation. It's your launching pad. So don't resist the restlessness. Embrace it. That discomfort, it's sacred. That unease, it's prophetic. That urgency, it's heaven's whisper, you won't die here, you're being released. And the place God is taking you next, it won't come with confusion. It won't come with pressure. It will come with peace. Because where God calls you, He's already prepared a place for you. So lift your eyes. Trust the process. The old place did its job. Now the discomfort is doing its job to get you to move. Because what's waiting on the other side of your obedience is not just a new location. It's a new level of life. Chapter 2. The old place was a place of preparation. Chosen one. Before you take your next step, you must understand this truth deeply. Where you've been wasn't a mistake. It was preparation. It may have been hard. It may have felt suffocating. At times, you probably begged God to release you from it. You may have even thought it was holding you back. But now that you've gained hindsight, you can see it with spiritual eyes. God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you. That old place, whether it was a physical home, a job, a relationship, a season of waiting, or even a version of yourself, was designed to refine you, not define you. It wasn't meant to be your final destination. It was a holy construction site, a divine boot camp, a hidden workshop where God carved out the strength, patience, endurance, and spiritual maturity you now carry. That place taught you how to survive on manna. That place forced you to pray like your life depended on it. Because at times, it did. That place revealed who was really with you and who just liked the idea of you. That place exposed your weaknesses so God could strengthen your foundations. That place humbled you so He could elevate you later without losing you to pride. God used the discomfort of that place to develop your discernment. He used the rejection you felt there to make sure your identity became rooted in Him, not in applause. He let you feel forgotten, so you'd learn to stop looking for man's validation and trust His affirmation. It was painful, yes, but it was purposeful. See, some lessons can't be taught in the palace. They can only be learned in the wilderness. Some anointings don't come from oil poured by man. They come from the pressing and crushing allowed by God. And some leaders aren't born on platforms. They're born in caves, shaped in silence, and hidden in obscurity. You, chosen one, are one of those. That old place was a womb, not a tomb. It was never meant to bury you. It was meant to birth you. But birth is messy. Birth is bloody. Birth feels like death before it feels like life. So don't curse the place. Don't resent the season. Don't look back in bitterness. Instead, honor the old place for what it was. A divine classroom, a holy forge, a proving ground, a sacred cocoon where God transformed you from who you were into who you're called to become. Yes, you cried there. Yes, you wanted out. But you also grew there. You matured. You learned how to fight battles in prayer. You learned to trust without having all the answers. You learned to stay when others left, and that chosen one was the point. Now, the bell has rung. The lesson is complete. You've passed the test, not by perfection, but by persistence. And heaven is saying, class dismissed. The preparation season is over. It's time to move. You're not running from something. You're graduating into something. So walk out of that old place, not with resentment, but with reverence, because everything you endured there built the foundation for everything God is about to release next. Chapter 3. You're not being pushed out. You're being called forward. Chosen one, this is not a rejection. It's a redirection. You're not being cast aside, removed, or left behind. You're being summoned by heaven. You're not being forced out of the old. You're being invited into the new. You're not being pushed out. You're being called forward. The enemy would love for you to think you're losing something. He'd love for you to feel abandoned, overlooked, or displaced. But the truth is, this shift isn't happening because something went wrong. It's happening because something is about to go right. You're being aligned with your next assignment. You're being relocated to higher ground. Not because you're failing, but because you're ready. This is how God works with His chosen. He calls them out of what's familiar and into what's faithful. Look at Abraham. God called him to leave everything familiar and walk into the unknown. Abraham didn't have a map, only a promise, and yet that promise changed history. Moses had to leave Egypt. Joseph had to be pulled from the pit. Ruth had to walk away from Moab. Every chosen one in Scripture had a moment where God said, "It's time to go." And now it's your moment. It may feel like you're walking away from something good. It may feel like you're stepping out without knowing what's next. But that's how you know it's God, because He calls you to trust Him, not your comfort zone. He calls you to follow His voice, not your surroundings. And even though you don't see the full picture yet, you can rest in the truth that He never calls without preparing the place He's calling you to. This isn't punishment, it's promotion. And just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean it's unsafe. God doesn't move you to confuse you. He moves you to grow you. He doesn't send you into chaos. He sends you into calling. And when you follow His voice, even without all the details, you'll always end up exactly where you're supposed to be. So don't look at this as a loss. Don't treat it like rejection. You're being elevated. You're being trusted. You're being positioned. You're not walking away from your purpose. You're walking deeper into it. This new place isn't random. It's custom-made. It's not just a new environment. It's a new assignment. It's a home that fits who you are now. It's a space prepared for your growth. It's a territory that's been waiting for your arrival. And when you get there, you'll realize that every no, every delay, every closed door, every unanswered question was part of the setup. You're not being pushed out. You're being called forward. And your obedience is unlocking something far greater than what you're leaving behind. Keep moving. Keep trusting. The way is prepared, and your steps are ordered. Chapter 4. God has already gone before you. Chosen one, you need to let this settle in your spirit. You're not walking into emptiness. You're walking into fulfillment. You're not stepping into confusion. You're stepping into something God has already spoken over. This next move, this new place, this fresh beginning is not a gamble. It's not a risk. It's a divine arrangement. And here's the truth. God has already gone before you. You're not figuring it out alone. You're not trying to create something out of thin air. You're not entering a room where nothing has been prepared. No. You're entering a space that's already been carved out just for you. God didn't just call you out of the old place. He prepared the new one in advance. He didn't just stir your spirit for change. He established your steps before the stirring ever began. Deuteronomy 31:8 doesn't say God might go before you. It says He already has. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. That means where you're going, He's already been. The conversations you haven't had yet, He's already arranged. The connections you don't know you need, He's already aligned. The resources you've been worried about, He's already set in motion. The home your spirit is longing for, He's already built. So stop thinking you're chasing something uncertain. You're walking into what God already completed in the Spirit. You're not searching blindly. You're not hoping randomly. You're not stepping into darkness. You're stepping into divine light, guided by the one who sees the end from the beginning. This is why the pressure to force it is lifting. You don't have to manipulate this next season. You don't have to beg for the right people or over-explain yourself to be understood. You don't have to force a door open that God already has the key to. If you walk by faith, you will walk into the favor that has already been positioned for your arrival. God has gone before you, which means the atmosphere is already being shifted to receive you. Hearts are being softened. Obstacles are being moved. What didn't make sense before is going to make perfect sense as you walk further. The fog will clear as you move forward in obedience. This next chapter doesn't require you to have all the answers. It just requires your yes. The new place is not just a location. It's a confirmation. It will feel like peace. It will echo back to your spirit. This is what I've been waiting for. And when you arrive, you'll look back and realize that every delay, every detour, every disappointment was actually divine protection, keeping you from moving too soon or settling for less. God is not figuring this out with you. He's leading you into what He already finished. Heaven is ahead of your footsteps. Destiny is not being created as you go. It's being revealed as you obey. So let this truth hold you steady. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not in danger of missing what's meant for you. You're right on time for the divine plan already in progress. Keep moving forward, chosen one. God has already made the way. Chapter 5. Some connections can't come with you. Chosen one. This is one of the hardest truths you'll face in your journey. Some people who walked with you yesterday are not assigned to walk with you tomorrow. Not because they're evil, not because they were never real, but because their role in your story was tied to a specific season. And that season is over. It hurts because you love them. You shared moments, memories, and even prayers. You believed they'd be standing beside you when the breakthrough came. But now, God is stirring something in your spirit. And at the same time, He's creating distance in places you once found comfort. Don't ignore it. That shift isn't random. It's revelation. Some connections are for survival. Some are for development. But not all are meant for destiny. The same people who helped you survive in the wilderness may not have the faith, discipline, or mindset to enter the promised land. And if you try to carry them, cover them, or convince them to come along when God has not called them, it will cost you. You'll end up heavy with relationships that were never meant to cross over. You'll find yourself drained, distracted, and detoured because you're trying to bring along what God is trying to release. Don't let guilt override guidance. Don't let comfort override calling. Abraham had to leave Lot behind. Moses couldn't bring everyone into the next dimension. Even Jesus had to separate himself from the crowd to fulfill his assignment. Why? Because some people don't have the capacity to go where God is calling you. And that's not rejection. That's protection. You are not being cruel by letting go. You are not abandoning them. You are obeying God. And your obedience might just be the spark that causes them to seek God for themselves. Sometimes your distance is what gives others space to grow. But in the meantime, you must walk forward, even if it means walking alone. This doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you stop limiting yourself to fit where they still are. It means you stop dimming your light to stay connected to those who fear its brightness. It means you stop apologizing for obeying the voice of God. You have a divine appointment, a prepared place, a purpose that demands your full attention and undivided faith. And to reach it, you can't carry what God is telling you to lay down. That includes people, mindsets, habits, and emotional attachments that have expired. Don't delay your destiny by clinging to dead weight. You'll know the difference between someone who's aligned and someone who's assigned to your past. Aligned people will speak life into your purpose, push you toward growth, and honor the anointing on your life, even if it challenges them. But some connections will subtly sabotage you, not because they hate you, but because they're not ready for where you're going. And that's okay. God will bring new connections in your next season. Divine relationships that are built not just on history, but on vision. People who don't just remember your past, but recognize your calling. People who can walk with you at your current pace, not drag you back to who you used to be. So take a breath and trust the pruning. Trust the separation. Trust the silence. God is not taking people from you to punish you. He's making room for the right ones. Chapter 6. You're about to walk into the fruit of your faith. Chosen one, take a deep breath and let this truth settle in your spirit. The season you're stepping into is not random. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's the fruit of your faith. This moment has been building behind the scenes while you were still in the middle of the storm, still holding on with no proof, still saying yes to God when everything in your life was screaming no. This is harvest time. You prayed when it felt like no one was listening. You obeyed when it cost you everything. You kept showing up when your soul was exhausted. You gave when you barely had enough for yourself. You stayed kind when the world was cruel. You stayed faithful when things didn't add up, and heaven has recorded all of it. This move you're about to make, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or all three, isn't just a change of scenery. It's a confirmation. It's the outward manifestation of all the inner work you've been doing. This next space you're being led into won't just look different. It will feel different. It'll carry peace, purpose, and provision. You're not just relocating. You're being planted. Planted in a space that matches your spirit. Planted in an environment where your roots can go deep and your fruit can grow freely. Planted in a place where you don't have to shrink, explain, or beg to be seen. This space has been prepared for you, but you've also been prepared for it. God didn't just go ahead to make the way. He stayed with you in the shadows to shape the one who would walk it. And now, you're not walking in theory. You're walking in fulfillment. Remember all those not yets? Remember all the closed doors that made no sense? Remember how it felt like everyone else was advancing while you were stuck? Now you'll understand why the delay was divine. Because what's coming isn't just about restoration. It's about divine alignment. This next chapter will connect dots you forgot about. You'll hear God say, "That's why I made you wait. That's why I said no. That's why I kept you hidden. Because what I was building for you and in you had to be timed just right. This isn't just about reward. It's about revelation. Your new space will reflect your new self. You're not moving to escape. You're moving to expand. And everything about the environment will echo back the journey you've taken. The maturity, the wisdom, the depth, the resilience. You'll step into rooms where your spirit can breathe again. The struggle made you stronger. The losses made you lighter. The waiting made you wiser. The isolation made you clearer. And now, the fruit of all that faith is about to become undeniable. You'll walk into spaces that say, "Welcome home," not just to your body, but to your soul. You'll connect with people who feel like destiny, not just community. You'll look around and realize, this is what God was preparing me for all along. So keep your eyes open. Keep your spirit expectant. Your steps are not ordinary. They are prophetic. You're not wandering. You're walking on prepared ground. And every place your foot touches next will testify to this truth. The promise didn't forget you. It's just now catching up to the version of you that's ready to receive it. Chapter 7. What's waiting for you is worth everything you left. Let's end here, chosen one. You may feel the weight of leaving. You may look back and feel nostalgia pull at your heart. That's okay. That's human. Growth doesn't mean the absence of grief. Sometimes, even when you know something is no longer right for you, it still hurts to let it go. And that's not weakness. That's proof you loved deeply, invested fully, and were present in that season. But don't let that pull keep you planted in a place where your roots no longer grow. Don't let comfort talk you out of calling. Don't let memories keep you tied to a space that no longer reflects the fullness of who you've become. Because what's waiting for you on the other side of this move is everything your spirit has been praying for. Favor that will chase you down instead of you chasing after it. Peace that silences the anxiety that used to rule your nights. Purpose that aligns with your gifts, your heart, and your divine assignment. Provision that doesn't come from hustle, but from heaven. Connections that fill your cup instead of draining it dry. Spaces that feel like freedom, not performance, and a sense of home that reaches your soul, not just your address. You're not just switching locations, you're stepping into a new spiritual dimension. You're shifting realms, elevating atmospheres, moving in alignment with your divine timeline. This isn't just relocation, this is revelation. God isn't just giving you a new space, He's giving you a new rhythm, a new identity, a new level of rest, and a new level of reach. You won't have to force your light to shine here. You won't have to explain why you see deeper, feel deeper, dream deeper. You won't have to twist yourself to fit where you no longer belong. This time, you're not being placed, you're being planted. And planted things grow. Planted things bear fruit. Planted things multiply. Planted things thrive where they are meant to be. Everything you left, the people, the patterns, the comfort zones, the safe spaces that became too small, it all had a purpose. It stretched you, it taught you, it humbled you. But it cannot sustain the version of you that's emerging now. That old place was a cocoon. But you're being called to fly. Chosen one, your wings don't belong in tight cages, and your spirit doesn't belong in spaces that ask you to shrink. Yes, you'll remember the old place. Yes, you'll have moments where you look back. But soon, you'll stand in the middle of what God prepared and say, This is what I was waiting for. This is what the warfare was about. This is why it took so long. This is where I was always meant to be. And that moment, it will make every tear worth it, every betrayal, every silent season, every lonely step of obedience. All of it will collapse under the weight of one undeniable truth. God never forgot you. He was preparing something too big to fit in your last chapter. So go forward. Go forward even if your heart shakes. Go forward even if you don't know all the details. Go forward because faith isn't about knowing what's next. It's about knowing who's leading you.